Hey guys, Cam for 15, John and my Uncle Daryl, back with another NFL week recap, as well as week three predictions for the NFL season. A lot of crazy things happen mostly for our team, but that's besides the point. Um, yeah, so we're gonna go through the week two's slate of games and everything, and then also talk about 49ers Giants, which was pretty much a blowout. I pretty much we probably should be more active of
Pretty much a blowout.
yeah, it was pretty much a blowout.
Yeah, man. Daniel Jones could do nothing in that game. It was a blowout.
Yeah. Again,
You you got to
49ers,
stop being nice. You got to stop being nice.
I'm
You
not
just you're too nice. You're being nice to the Giants. It was an ass whooping. Let's just leave it at
okay. Well, yeah.
that.
Listen, it is what it
It
whatever.
is. It is.
I guess we don't have to recap the game. Um
No.
Anyways, let's get to the Sunday slate of the games. Bears versus Buccaneers. I went in depth about this. I was too late. I just didn't have time to upload your thoughts on it, but the game was over. The game was over from the jump, and
Yeah.
whatever. So one, props to the Buccaneers. Seemingly enough, they seem like they're going to be a team, maybe in the NFC South, that can actually compete for an NFC South title. Mind you, as long as Baker Mayfield doesn't turn the ball over, he's playing good football. But you know, Shaq Barrett, he made a good play on Justin Fields in terms of that stupid double screen pass. I don't know. Buccaneers, they're looking nice. Defense is still a stout. The offense obviously is looking pretty good, but the Bears have no non-existent defense. So of course Baker Mayfield looks like an MVP candidate already. The Bears still
Yeah.
have their issues.
Yeah.
The Bears are having turmoil and then everything. You have Alan
Yeah.
Williams end up resigning, which all right, fine. I don't care. He wasn't much of a good, solid defensive coordinator. Now, for those reasons, they say it's health and personal reasons, or family and health reasons. It's abrupt. The way the coaches talk about it in press conferences, it sounds as if frickin' it might be more than just health and family issues or something. It was, this whole issue with the Bears. You know, all I can say is everything that has gone wrong for the Bears has went wrong, if not worse. And again, you can catch our game recap tomorrow. Um, Hopefully my Uncle Daryl will be on for this upcoming week because he missed out the last 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, again, I live in Germany, so the time difference is what the time difference is. There are times in which I'm just so fed up with the Bears that the only thing I can do is try to get a good night's sleep. Uh, and in some cases that's not and it's not an excuse, but the time difference is what the time difference is. You know, but given we've already touched on it,
Yep.
but the situation with the Bears is you can't get any lower than where they are right now. They're already 0-2. They're playing the Super Bowl champions this current week. You and I both believe that they'll be 0-3, so we'll just go ahead and get that out right now.
Yep.
But you can't get any lower than where they are. So there's no place to go but up. So as
Oh,
Bears fans, we're gonna hope for the best. We're gonna hope for the best, as what Bears fans do. We're gonna believe that Getsy will eventually start calling plays to get Justin Fields out in space and try and stop trying to pretend he's Aaron Rodgers. So we're gonna hope that Getsy dial up plays so that Justin Fields can actually look for DJ Moore, who was dominant last week. But again, this video was about our week 3 predictions, so we're gonna go in and get with those. But we can at least start with saying Bears are gonna be 0-3.
yeah, pretty much it. Moving on. Bills. I guess is what we just talked about with 49ers, Giants. It was an ass whooping. Bills just beat the freaking ever living hell out of the Raiders.
Can't trust the Raiders. Moving on.
Uh, Ravens and Bengals was shockingly a really good game. It was a back and forth game, but at the end, the Ravens pulled through. And to be honest, the Ravens look like a much better team at this point in time compared to the Bengals. The Bengals are still having issues, and then Joe Burrow right now, this calf issue is flaring up with him and everything. So maybe that could affect the way how he plays. You know, it seems like him and Jamar Chase are not on the same wavelength they've been on. But it was a really good game. You know, back and forth game. You enjoy it. Lamar Jackson, when he had to step up and make plays, he stepped up and made plays. Odell Beckham Jr. did get hurt though, and he's like going to be out for this upcoming week. But the Ravens so far, they look out of all the AFC North teams, they look like the best team by far in the AFC North.
I do like the Ravens. Flowers is playing. Oh, dude, he is playing well above us. It looks like also Lamar Jackson really trusts him with the football, which is also very important when you're talking about a quarterback wide receiver relationship. They did lose J.K. Dobbins,
Yep.
but at the same time, the running back room seems to be pretty deep, starting with Edwards. So with that being said, the Bengals are in trouble.
Yeah.
The Bengals are in some serious trouble. So they need unlike last year in which they went 0-2, but they did survive to make it to the AFC Championship game. So obviously that goal is still not, far-fetched, but they got to win this week. But the Ravens look really good. And they look really deep as well, too, unlike last year, whereas they couldn't survive a running back injury and they couldn't survive a wide receiver injury. So I like the Ravens. I really do. And we'll see where they go moving forward. But the Ravens look really good to start the season out.
Yeah. Another pretty solid game was the Chiefs versus the Jaguars. There was kind of like a defensive battle to where the Jaguars, they looked like they had control for the game, but eventually the Chiefs, after halftime, they took back that control and they kind of pulled away ever so slightly. The Jaguars offense really couldn't get anything going. And even the same can be said about the Chiefs, which, their offense hasn't been exactly good. And even Travis Kelce did come back for this game. Chris Jones was also back for this game as well already. But again, at the end of the day, you got to win a football game. And the Chiefs, they're Super Bowl champions for a reason. They ended up going down to Jacksonville, winning a pretty hard-fought game. And they take the dub, and they're going pretty much. They should be 2-1 going in the game against the Bears, which I think that will be their offense getting back on track game. So, the Jaguars, they just didn't look too good on offense in the second half. It could be better, but you're going up against the Super Bowl champion, so what I expect.
Yeah, me too. It was pretty much a field goal game until that first touchdown drop. And after that first touchdown drop, Kansas City, for all intents and purposes, had control of the entire game. Travis Kelce did look rusty. Even Chris Jones, which we were saying was more of a key piece than Travis Kelce was on offense. But Chris Jones was a key piece, more so on defense than what Kelce was on offense, and it pretty much kept Jacksonville out of the end zone, which eventually the better quarterback wound up getting the score, and the better quarterback was Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes also, I think this week, restructured his deal to where he's still getting paid a lot of money as well. So, hey.
Yep.
I guess in a way it's somewhat.
I was going to say, but they probably did that with the intent that Mahomes just would restructure his deal.
Yeah.
So they can sign guys like Kelce and Jones. Because keep in mind now, and we both talked about this as well, too, when it came to Mahomes' deal, that Will Mahomes' new deal, Hill and Kelce in place. Well, obviously it wasn't good enough to keep Hill in place because he wound up going to Miami. But the other key piece was Kelce. So now that Kelsey is in a position to be with Kansas City a good little while, so maybe we could probably see he restructured his deal, I should say, to help keep Kelsey in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yes. Now a game I was just shocked to find out that this was the score. The Tennessee Titans upset the Los Angeles Chargers.
You know how much I hate that, given how much I do love Justin Hebert. That was just, but that Los Angeles Chargers defense,
Oh
and
yeah.
you're a little closely vested than I am geographically. That Los Angeles Chargers defense is horrible. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
And the funny part
And
is their head coach is a defensive-minded head coach.
correct. It's bad. So now that they're going to Minnesota, is it going to Minnesota? Well,
Yeah,
basically,
I think they're going to Minnesota. Yeah.
they're going to Minnesota, where Minnesota is a pass happy offense with a defense coming in who just can't stop the run or pass. It is definitely going to be interesting. Usually in those situations, you try to go with the better quarterback, but the way Kirk Cousins is playing with the best wide receiver in the league, it's gonna be when we get to our predictions, it's gonna be pretty interesting when we get to Chargers in Minnesota.
Yeah, the Titans, they ended up battling back. The Chargers were up pretty large, had a pretty solid lead, and then the Titans just battled back, managed to take the game to overtime. And I didn't watch this game at all, even though regionally I could have. I was obviously watching the Bears game at the time, and then other games, and I thought, like, okay, the Chargers should beat the freaking Titans. And I had no need to watch the game, but it's like, all right, I guess not. And apparently, like, I think in overtime, like the Chargers threw like 3 straight freaking like deep routes in overtime, and they had to punt, and then what is it? The Titans basically get a field goal, win the game. And it's like,
well, at one point I was watching the Chargers in Tennessee because, just didn't look like the Bears were actually going to do anything against Tampa Bay. So I wanted to watch a game that was actually pretty interesting. Come to find out that the Chargers did come back against Minnesota, but at the same time, it's just like
Tennessee, you mean?
I'm sorry, against Tennessee. But Tennessee's defense was good enough late in that game to sustain the victory.
Yeah. I have friends who are Charger fans. Listen, it's not getting pretty. It's not getting pretty.
Nope. Nope.
So
that look good for their head coach, especially if they can't beat Minnesota this week, to go 0-3 and then look to make a playoff spot. I think it's really difficult from that point I think there might have been only, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, we probably have to go back, but only one 0-4 team has actually recovered to make the playoffs. I want to say one. So the odds are not the odds are not for the Chargers to lose against Minnesota and make the playoffs. So because Minnesota has a coach that's already been in place the last 2 years, and the Chargers coach is under fire, which coach do you think is going to get fired if they lose this game?
Probably the Chargers.
Absolutely.
Moving to the next game. This was also a back and forth game. The Atlanta Falcons, they end up taking the lead and coming back to beat the Green Bay Packers by the score of 25-24. The number one thing about this game that was talked about, other than like Jordan Love's like fumble or whatever he had, was Bijan Robinson just running roughshod all over this Packers defense. It literally was a Bijan Robinson game.
Still threw 3 touchdowns. Let's give him credit.
Yeah.
Let's give him credit. He didn't do, he struggled down the stretch. Yep. And Atlanta's defense, let's give Atlanta's defense some credit.
Yeah.
They are a heck of a lot better than what we gave them credit for.
I actually said Atlanta could potentially win the NFC South this year, to be honest.
That's correct. And I'm gonna go ahead and go in and be on record right now and say Atlanta's gonna go to Detroit and beat them.
Oh,
Because they do the things to win football games, run the ball, stop the run, and they make sure that Desmond Ritter doesn't do anything stupid to put them in a position to lose the game.
yeah.
So, and Bijan Robinson is a lot better than what I personally have given them credit for. Because normally I don't give credit to a lot of rookies,
Mm-hmm.
but because he is a rookie and he's in a position to make a difference for the Falcons, he's been pretty good
Yeah.
these first couple games. So I like Atlanta. So we'll see. But I will predict right now, and I guess you might as well just go ahead and book it, that I think Atlanta's going to beat Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah, even as a Bears fan, I have to say the Packers, they look like they're a well-oiled machine right now. I think they have some injuries obviously going on, especially to the offensive line. Right
They
now.
got a lot. They
But
got offensive line, running back. I don't know if Christian Watson is back yet.
yeah,
But I think
he didn't play this game either.
yeah, I was gonna say I think he's gonna be back for this next game against New Orleans. I think he is. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the injury report. I plan on looking at it before our next video, but I do believe he's back for the next game. They did not put him on IR, which means he would have been 4 games out.
Yeah.
But but um but Green Bay has got some injuries to deal with, and but Jordan Love he's not turning the ball over. He's got 6 touchdowns going in through the first 2 games, which is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what's going on with Green Bay moving forward.
Yeah. Another exciting game that I wish I kind of watched was Seattle versus Detroit. Now we talked about like 2 weeks ago, like, okay, was the Rams beat down against Seattle, like show you how bad Seattle was and how good the Rams were, where maybe it was just those week 1 issues that the Seattle Seahawks went through because they went to Detroit and beat them in overtime.
Well, or it could just simply say that the NFC West is a lot better than what people give him credit for. Even Arizona. I've already said it a couple times in our videos so far this year. Watch out for the Rams.
Yeah.
I think the Rams are pretty good this year. Matthew Stafford is healthy. He's an experienced quarterback. He knows how to read defenses, and he is not going to do the things to put his team in positions to lose football games.
Yep.
And even though Cooper Kupp is injured and they got Puka Nacua, who is playing amazing. I don't know how many times you can honestly say, when has a rookie come in and get 15 to 20 targets from an experienced quarterback like Matthew Stafford? It's very rare. So obviously Matthew Stafford knows that this kid can play football.
Yeah.
But when Cooper Kupp comes back, it's going to be a different offensive outlook for the Rams. So watch out for the Rams because I think they're pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, this game was going back and forth. Really good game, I bet, if you watched it to see. I was actually surprised Seattle actually beat them, even though it was an overtime. They managed to beat the Lions. Hey, I'll take it as a Bears fan if we have any division hopes, I guess. But
I know, right?
uh,
I know, right?
I
We'll
didn't really
take that.
watch. Yeah,
Considering what Justin Fields did at the podium this week.
yeah. Listen, I'll take it. Good for Seattle to get a win. Detroit, it's back to the drawing board. I don't know who they're playing this upcoming week, but we'll talk about it. So, yeah. Next game.
Detroit. I said Detroit has got is it Green Bay?
I think no. No, I think that's next Thursday night.
Next Thursday night?
Yeah. So after this slate of Sunday games, they have Green Bay on Thursday.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know who they play this Sunday though. Oh, they play the Falcons. Oh, they play the Falcons. Yeah.
Yeah, they play the Falcons.
Yeah.
And like I said,
Um,
I think the Falcons are going to beat Detroit.
okay. Moving on. Colts at Texans. Colts just beat the Texans. Nothing else to say about it. It's just two teams that are it. Anthony Richardson, he got hurt in this game, and he's not gonna be available for their week 3
Correct.
matchup. So yeah, that's kind of it. CJ Stroud, albeit in a loss, he still looks good, shockingly enough.
To be honest, he almost threw for 400 yards now. And he's got a slew of wide receivers that are actually pretty good. So if the defense can do their job, the Texans are going to be quite competitive moving forward.
Yep.
Don't sneeze on those Texans because CJ Stroud he's got weapons.
Yeah. And when I saw the stat line, like CJ Stroud's like the first Ohio State quarterback to throw for over 300 yards. I was like, oh yes, because our Ohio State quarterback can't do that because he's not throwing to the damn receivers.
But see, that's always been a narrative with Ohio State quarterbacks.
Yep.
Is that they're never successful in the NFL. So now all of a sudden, you got an Ohio State quarterback. He's got weapons, two of which who may actually be considered for the Pro Bowl if they continue on this path of success offensively. Then Texas might, offensively, they're going to be pretty good. They got a really good running back. They got 3 solid wide receivers. They got an up-and-coming quarterback. All they need to do is just show up their offensive line play. And offensively, the Texans are pretty good.
Yeah.
Defense, they suck.
I think DeMeco Ryans will get that under control, though.
Absolutely. And that's why no one's really worried about the Texans' defense.
Yeah.
Because of their head coach. But offensively, man, don't sneeze on the Texans.
Yeah. Next game, it was looking like it was gonna be an upset, and Giants were gonna get roasted probably all over social media, but the Giants ended up having to come back to beat the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. They were down like I think 28-0 at some point, and they came all the way back after halftime. That's what good teams have to do. Sometimes you have a bad half, you have to come back, respond, and freaking go out there, play your game of football and go win the game. The only thing that ended up being bad for the Giants out of this game was Saquon Barkley ended up getting hurt, and he might be out for like 3-4 weeks now.
Well, I mean, they were behind the 8 ball at the beginning of this game. Plus, they couldn't get to Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy wound up throwing for over 300 yards. And the Giants defense made Deebo Samuel look like Randy freaking Moss. So, I'm just like, come on now, But I think if the Giants got another shot at the 49ers, I'm not sold on the 49ers just yet.
Really?
I'm sold on their offensive line.
Okay.
Now that part I'm sold on. They can run and pass protect. But I'm not really sold on them just yet. They just, have to come up against the right team. But right now, I'm not sold. I'm not completely 100% sold on the 49ers as a unit.
Okay.
Offensively, that offensive line is solid. They can run block and pass block, and that's really all they need to do.
Yeah. So, nothing to talk about with the Giants, Cardinals. They continue their tanking ways.
Yep.
49ers and Rams. The Rams tried to make things interesting late, but then the 49ers ended up pulling away. But to be honest, the game was kind of complete domination by the 49ers, to be honest.
What was it, 30-23? So it wasn't really dominating. It was a great performance. 49ers over the Rams. But I guess I'm biased because I really like the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I think I might have already mentioned it 3 or 4 times already, but I really like the Rams. And when Cooper Kupp comes back and you got Cooper Kupp on one side and Puka Nacua on the other side, that offense is going to be awesome. And they've already traded away Cam Akers,
Yep, they
to
traded
allow
with the
Kyle
Vikings.
Williams to be starting running back in that backfield. What did they get for Cam Akers?
I think a 4th-round pick.
A 4th round pick? They could probably turn that around and still get a decent player for him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really like the Rams. If I'm wrong, but I really like the Rams.
Moving on, Jets versus Cowboys. The Jets made it as interesting as they could for a first half, and then
Stop it. Stop it.
I gotta
Stop
get
it.
it. I
It was
gotta point it out.
complete domination.
But
Stop it. The Dallas Cowboys came in and they beat the crap out of the Jets, which is what we were expecting them to do. Stop it.
yeah, you're right. Hold on a quick second. I'll be back. Yeah, it was a beatdown.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Only thing that's bad for the Cowboys now is over the week of practice, Trayvon Diggs tore his ACL. So that's a pretty
Correct.
big blow to their defense.
That is deep, but it depends on the offenses that they're going to have to play against. Can they attack the area that Trayvon Diggs was in moving forward? So we'll see. The pass rush hasn't changed. The linebacking core hasn't changed. So as long as you got Micah Parsons there and they keep moving him around, we'll see.
This is actually shockingly a crazy game. The Commanders versus the Broncos. Now the Commanders were winning this game until the Broncos, like only a few seconds left in like the drive, were making a comeback. They ended up getting this crazy Hail Mary for a touchdown. And then they go for the 2-point conversion to tie the game. And what should have probably been a PI. I don't know why the refs didn't call it. Commanders hold on, they win the game. So
usually when you put the game in the referee's hands, you probably should lose anyway. Now that I think about it, if you hope it's a PI, you pray it's a PI, then you probably should lose. But Washington was the better team. It was clear in this game anyway. So Denver did play. Now I will say, from a Denver standpoint, they played a heck of a lot better. Yeah. Russell Wilson threw 3 touchdowns, I think. 2-3 touchdowns, I believe, in this game. And he's played better in this game than he has under any game in his career in Denver. It does give Denver something to look forward to.
3 touchdowns for Russell Wilson. Hold on, I have to go again. Yeah, anything else to say?
Nope, not about this game.
Yeah. Sunday Night Football from last week was the Dolphins versus the New England Patriots. Now, the Dolphins, they were handing the Patriots a problem. And then the Patriots, for some odd reason, according to my friend Matt, I guess they like to score in the 4th quarter only. And they tried to make a comeback. There was one pass where I think one of the linemen, because at this time I didn't have any audio on. I was literally watching the Gran Turismo movie, trying to watch this game at the same time too. I saw that it was like 4th down. The lineman tried to catch a football or whatever. Like, I think it was on a fumble or something. I don't know. And they didn't get the 4th downs, and basically the Dolphins managed to hold on. Look, the Dolphins look good on offense, but clearly the Patriots gave them problems enough to, like, at least make them stutter a bit. I don't think Tyreek Hill did enough in this game either, because Bill Belichick, obviously, he knows how to freaking defend against Tyreek Hill really well. But Dolphins are 2-0. Right now, they look like the team to beat in the AFC East. They're just going to continue doing what they need to do.
Well, I did watch the game, and Bill Belichick did what was necessary to keep Tyreek from the deepest portions of his defense. He gave up a lot of underneath routes, which allowed the defense to stay in the game. But this game came down to whether they could stop Raheem Mostert or not, which they couldn't.
Yeah.
You know, so they did stop, and you know how Bill Belichick does it. He wants to take away the one thing you do best, and the one thing they do best are the deep routes through Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Well, he took those away, but he gave up the underneath routes, which allowed Raheem Mostert to dominate. So it's not necessarily a gamble on Bill Belichick's part. It's just, that's who he is. He's like, I would much rather, and he was in a position to win the game.
Yeah.
He was. He just didn't have the tools offensively, to make sure that they win the game.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of moving forward with how they like to defend. So we'll see. But Bill Belichick did what was necessary to at least stay close, which is what he wants to do. And hopefully his offense could actually do the necessary things to get them over, but they just couldn't this particular game.
That takes us to the Monday night slate games. Saints versus Panthers. The Saints end up winning just barely against the Panthers. The Panthers did the best to try to upset them, but Saints pulled through. Derek Carr, I think, had like one bad interception in this game. I don't know, but Saints, they look all right. That's fine. Panthers, well, they'll be seeing Andy Dalton start this upcoming game because Bryce Young got hurt, which I think everybody would predict that he would end up getting hurt at some point because he's too small.
Correct. Well, let's not say because he's too small. It's an ankle injury, so ankle injuries can happen to any football player at any given time. So regardless of size, girth, or what have you, it's ankles. So it could happen. I can understand if it was a concussion, then you could probably relate that to, his size or what have you. But man, he just rolled his ankle, man. So you're just being careful and making sure he doesn't roll it again.
Yeah. Hey, good for us. Good for us Bear fans. That means that heightens the chances of getting number 2 pick. So hopefully Andy Dalton gets the memo and goes with the choke job.
Maybe so. And hopefully Andy Dalton sits on and say, I really want to stick it to the Bears. But it's still a long, long season. So we'll see what happens. I honestly think that Justin Fields will play better in Kansas City, considering his comments at the podium this past week. We can hope.
He better play better, honestly.
Well, the long-term effects, and I know we're getting off on the Bears, and this is supposed to be an NFL type video, but we're getting off on the Bears. But I honestly think that because of his comments, that I expect him to play a little better. I expect him to do exactly what he said. He just said, F it. And just run the doggone football when he sees that this play is garbage from Luke Getsy. So we'll see. But I think he's a damn fool to get in front of America and everybody to simply say it could be coaching. No, man, you don't do that. You don't do that. Even if it is the coach's fault, which everybody in that locker room knows that we are not well coached. Everybody knows it's coaching. You don't get to the podium and say that. You accept responsibility for your actions and move out. That's how you endear the media to your cause. And eventually your cause is going to be, after your 5th year, you're going to command $30-something million a year. Which polls right now, I can honestly say, probably don't want to give you.
No, because it's playing good.
He's playing like crap. He's playing like he's a rookie. Why would you want to give this guy $30+ million a year when after his 3rd year, he's still doing the same crap that he's doing as a rookie? That's not coaching. It isn't. It's not coaching. It's something inbred in you that keeps that ball in your hands when you should release it.
Oh wow, that was a
Yeah,
Browns and Steelers. Um,
Steelers.
yeah, Steelers ended up winning this game. Um, Browns had to lose Nick Chubb in a very gruesome injury to his knee. He had to get carted off, and they basically said like he's done for the season. And basically,
Yeah, there's no way, there's no coming back from that.
yeah, from the
Yeah,
moment he went out, the offense is Nick Chubb. Deshaun Watson, he hasn't really played really good, especially to the levels of how the Browns have paid him handsomely, even after the incident that happened with him last season and
correct,
everything. But
correct.
yeah, I don't know. The Browns defense, they're tough, but the offense is, but mostly from the quarterback position, it just isn't good enough. Steelers, they played good enough to win, but Kenny Pickett to me didn't really necessarily look good in this game. He hasn't really looked good all so far 2 weeks into the season. And he's definitely gonna have to play a lot better going forward.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, the Cincinnati just they might be 0-3 coming into this last game, so we'll see. But no one in the AFC other than Baltimore looks good. Well, I shouldn't say that. In the AFC North
Yeah.
looks good.
Well, that's it for our week 2 recap. When we come back, we'll do our week 3 predictions. So we'll be back in a quick second, guys. Hey guys, back with our week 3 predictions. We don't need to talk about Giants versus 49ers. That was a beatdown. Whatever. Bears at Kansas City Chiefs. Let's get it out the way. So
It's gonna be the same as 49ers and Giants. It's gonna be a beatdown.
honestly, with all the turmoil that's going on, I don't even know if the team's gonna play good. They probably ain't gonna play good. I'm calling it as is. Chiefs gonna put a 50 burger on the Bears. With how
I
bad.
think the Chiefs is gonna put a 50 burger on them too. Because aside from what Justin Fields said in the press conference, I just don't think is gonna motivate the Bears any further than what their talent level has provided to be competitive in this game.
Yeah. 50-14. That's my score.
I wasn't gonna go that high. I would probably say something like 40-21.
I got them dropping 50 points on us.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I just don't see the Bears being competitive in this game at all.
The only thing I can hope for is Justin Fields look good. Because this is probably one of his most important games in his career now.
I popped them in my fantasy league just because of that particular reason that you just stated.
So he's got he's got 4 or 5 slated games that he has to pick up his play. Otherwise, the Bears might be like, you know what? We'll go Tyson Bagent and we'll see what he can do.
Yep. Just for that reason alone, I popped Tyson Bagent in my fantasy league just in case they decide to move on from Fields.
Again, if you want to get my thoughts on the Bears, I did do a video breaking down what the hell is going on with the Chicago Bears. I literally said in that video, I'm like, well, all right, if the Bears are going to let Justin Fields play his way, he better play his way. Otherwise, Tyson Bagent is going to come in, and if he plays good enough to where he's doing the things Justin wasn't doing so far,
Yeah.
they're just going to be like, okay, then we really see what the problem is. Because look, at the end of the day, Justin Fields can complain about Getsy not calling the right plays. At the end of the day, quarterbacks in this league, great quarterbacks in this league, they pretty much they let their play outshine what the play call is. They improvise off the play.
Correct.
Simple as
My
that.
thing is, if you are balling out, regardless of the coach's play calls, then you have some type of stay, so to speak, at the press conference podium to say, hey, it's coaching. I mean, if you balling out and you say it's coaching, then more times likely, then the media will believe you because you balling out. But if you're not balling out, and you call the coaches out, then the media is gonna be like, well, see you looking dead at DJ Moore and you're not throwing to him.
Yeah.
You hold the ball too long. I mean, you stand a chance to, be scrutinized a little bit more than the coaches you calling out, because the coaches aren't at the podium. You are. So, I think that's where we are with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
He pretty much just has to play. I mean, just play, man. If a wide receiver's open, throw it to him and trust that the wide receiver's gonna catch it. If you don't catch it, then we enter into a different conversation. But at least you throw the football. And if you don't throw the football, get the hell out the pocket. Run. But
kind of thing. My one question to you is, do you think he needs to take the visor off if he can't see the field correctly? I think he might. I think he should. Maybe taking the visor off might actually help him see the field a little bit better.
Maybe, but that's vision. That's a physical impediment that's upon that particular quarterback.
Sure.
But at the same time, though, if it's his quarterback IQ, whether he has the visor on or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And from what, let's just say JT Sullivan's QB school on YouTube, he's basically saying, the adverse that Justin Fields is just not throwing the football.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next game. Colts at the Ravens.
No Anthony Richardson. Ravens is going to win this football game.
Yeah, Ravens in a blowout.
Yeah.
This could be an interesting defensive battle game right here. Titans at the Browns.
Ooh. I have not picked the Titans the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And Titans have played pretty well. So I'm going to go with the Titans this game, considering the whole situation with Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I have to agree. Deshaun Watson hasn't particularly played well enough to win the Browns games. And then, I don't know if Kareem Hunt will be activated because he did get signed by the Browns, but I don't think, he would start.
They said he's going to play.
Okay.
They said he's going to play. But you kind of wonder how many plays. It's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, But even still, though, that does not matter when you're talking about chemistry with the rest of the offense. I'm still going to go with Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going with Tennessee to win this game. Next game, the Denver Broncos at the Miami Dolphins.
Who do you think I'm gonna pick?
The Dolphins. Yeah, can't go with the favorites.
I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon just because Russell Wilson had a great game and they still lost against the Commanders. So no. Dolphins are one of the AFC's elite, and I'm gonna stick with the Dolphins.
Yeah, going Dolphins here. Patriots at the New York Jets. Patriots.
Does the Jets have Aaron Rodgers?
Nope.
Oh. No, I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots should get back on track with this win. Go to 1-2.
Oh, absolutely.
Bills at the Commanders. Now, this could be a pretty interesting game here. The Commanders' defense is pretty good. Josh Allen, if he gets too eager, he could freaking start turning the ball over. You know what? As crazy as it sounds, I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go Commanders beat the Bills. Somehow, they'll find a way to beat the Bills.
Commanders are at home, though. That's probably why you're leaning more towards the Commanders. I kind of look at how they played week 1, but then again, I look at how they played week 2. And week 2, they dominated. James Cook was dominant. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I honestly think Buffalo has got enough defensively to stall what the Washington Commanders like to do offensively.
Yeah. Next up, Falcons at the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna go Detroit.
Falcons. I've already.
Yeah, I know you went Falcons. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go Detroit.
yeah, I've already said Falcons. I like how Falcons run the ball, and I love how they attack the ball defensively. So I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Detroit. I think they're gonna get back on track now. I could definitely see the Falcons winning this game, especially if they get a really good, another great running game. And if that becomes a problem for Detroit, then yeah, Falcons are gonna probably win this and control line of scrimmage. But we'll see. We'll see. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't think he really did much of anything last week against Seattle. So
He's not playing though. I think he was ruled out with a toe injury.
really, this week?
I think he was ruled out this week with a toe injury.
Let me look at injury report. No, he ain't on their injury report. Amon-Ra St. Brown ain't on their injury report.
Let's see.
You must be confusing him with CJ Gardner-Johnson, who's out. He's already on IR.
I was watching NFL Network, and I could have swore that they said Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to be inactive.
No, he's not even on their injury report right now.
Yeah, you're right. He's not on the injury report right now.
So, yeah. Oh, we forgot to mention
But
the Lions did lose CJ Gardner.
But I will say, yeah, he's dealing with a toe injury, so I'm not necessarily sure if he plays. Yeah, it's a big boon to what Detroit likes to do offensively. But if not, and he's out, then I mean, regardless, a really good solid run game to just derails what an offense can do on the other end, especially when you're talking about a wide receiver. And right now, Detroit hasn't shown the wherewithal to be able to run the ball the way they did last year. Because I know they don't have, if I'm correct, they don't have David Montgomery.
Yeah, he got hurt too.
Yeah, he's out. So that means they're going to be dependent upon a rookie to be able to move the chains. And again, you know how I feel about rookies.
Yeah.
Regardless of how Bijan Robinson is playing, eventually he's going to hit that rookie wall. And it's going to hurt Atlanta, but I don't think it's going to hurt Atlanta this week.
Yeah. We also forgot to mention CJ Gardner-Johnson, a pretty big piece of their defense for the Lions. He tore his pec and he's done for the season.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're all right. Well, at least they don't have to deal with Atlanta don't have to deal with that loud mouth of his.
Yep.
he does like to talk though. But that's the one part of CJ Gardner's game that I do like.
Yeah. Saints at the Packers. For me as a Bears fan, I'm always going the opposite team of the Packers. Saints. As long as Derek Carr does nothing stupid, the Saints should win this game.
Well, I'm going to try to detach emotionally, and I honestly think the Packers are going to win this game. I just don't think offensively the problem with the Packers offensively is that they're missing Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would honestly say this would be a clear and concise victory for the Green Bay Packers. I still think they'll win this game, but having just A.J. Dillon in the background is just going to derail them just a little bit, but they should be able to win this game.
I'm going Saints. So, yeah.
This is very good. This is 2 games in a row that you and I are against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good, actually.
Actually, I do think it's good.
Texans.
Uh-huh. It means that you and I are on different, wavelengths. Whereas before it's just like, The first couple weeks is just like, yeah, we pretty much agree on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But now that these teams are starting to separate themselves from the pack, so to speak,
Yeah.
then yeah, our picks are coming out to be a little bit different. I really like Atlanta.
Yeah. I think they
Yeah.
have a chance to compete for the NFC South.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And with that defense and that running game, they have an opportunity to go a little bit further than that.
Texans at the Jaguars. Jaguars should win this game. Pretty much, unless Trevor Lawrence does something out of the ordinary, or the Jaguars just don't show up to play. But
They are in Jacksonville, right?
yep.
I just don't see any reason how Houston can go open, even with that wide receiving core, to beat Jacksonville. Because the thing is, Jacksonville is not playing that offense. Jacksonville is basically playing that defense, and that defense is just not good right now.
Yep. Moving on. Chargers at the Minnesota Vikings. The fact that the Chargers defense seemingly enough can't stop anybody, and when their offense
Minnesota,
Hmm?
Minnesota, they can't stop anybody.
Yeah, they can't stop anybody. The offense.
But let me ask you this:
Okay.
if you had one game with the Chargers secondary or the Minnesota Vikings secondary, which secondary would you choose?
Minnesota.
I would pick Minnesota's secondary too, regardless of the quarterback. Now, granted, I think A Bear is, head and shoulders above, what Kirk Cousins does in Minnesota, but Kirk Cousins just don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Minnesota just because they're at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Minnesota too. Right now these two teams are playing on equal lengths, but the Chargers defense is, I don't know what they're gonna do to combat, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson, because their secondary is absolutely putrid. And then I don't even know if Cam Akers is gonna play this game, and if they can't stop the run.
No, he's not. He's not.
Okay.
But at the same time, though, I think Addison is the key. I think they're going to put all of their emphasis, meaning the Chargers defense, on stopping Justin Jefferson, which are give the speed demon Addison opportunities over the top. And plus, Minnesota's at home. So that being said, with all those factors, I like Minnesota to come up with a victory this game.
The Carolina Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle should win this
game. Seattle. Bryce Young is not playing, ankle injury. Backup is in. Seattle.
Cowboys at the Arizona Cardinals. Cowboys in a blowout. Well, actually, no. I'm not going to say Cowboys in a blowout. I think this actually could be a close game.
Why? Because Trayvon Diggs is out? Just that one guy?
No, the way the Cardinals play.
One guy?
The way the Cardinals play. They play hard.
Cardinals are playing a little bit better, unfortunately. Now, I'm not the biggest Cowboy fan, and I really can't stand their fans, but I still think the Cowboys are going to win this game by 3 touchdowns.
Okay. In other news, Colorado's getting their asses whooped. Not shocking.
Was it? Is it 28-0 now?
35-0.
Yeah, I got it, man. I never thought that they were gonna go into Corvallis and beat them anyway.
You mean Eugene?
Or Eugene, Corvallis, or I'm sorry, Corvallis is Oregon State.
Yeah.
I never thought they were gonna go to Oregon and beat Oregon. Oregon's a different beast than the teams that they played.
Honestly, the way the Oregon's playing and the way fucking the head coach was talking, and before the game started, it looked like they want to probably put a 50 burger on these guys right now.
Probably.
They probably want to humble these dudes.
Probably.
Sunday night football game. What the? Why? You're telling me you could have put a better Sunday night football game this upcoming Sunday? The
Okay.
Steelers at the Raiders.
Well, I mean, before they made the schedule, the Steelers looked pretty good.
The Raiders don't. What do the Raiders deserve to do?
Well, you know, I don't trust the Raiders.
I understand that, but what did the Raiders do to deserve getting a Sunday night game?
Nothing. Nothing. I don't trust the Raiders would have been better.
Hell, I rather would have put Chargers in versus Vikings for Sunday night football.
I would have preferred that Sunday night. I would have preferred the Bears and Chiefs.
When was the last time they did that?
That was the wife who screamed out with that one. Man, I preferred the Bears and Chiefs. This is at least the Bears, and you can give the Bears a lot of credit for a lot of things. But this week, with all the drama that Justin Fields put at the Bears' doorstep, they deserve a nationally televised game just to see how the Bears are going to react.
Well, the game's
The
going to be.
Raiders. You cannot trust the Raiders under any circumstances.
Well, on the Bears' pretenses, they are America's Game of the Week on Fox, so that's technically prime time.
You just know how to burst my bubble, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steelers.
Yeah, still
And
for
I
sure.
think Devontae Adams, he's in like concussion protocol, so he probably ain't playing this game.
Please don't tell me that because I got him in my fantasy league.
Let me see. Oh no, I guess not. He's not on the injury report.
No, actually, he's not, which is the reason why I kept him in.
Oh.
But he is the only reason. Him and Josh Jacobs, especially Josh Jacobs, because the Pittsburgh Steelers can't stop anybody on offense. Neither can the Ravens. Neither can the Raiders stop anybody offensively.
Yeah.
If this is not a high-scoring football game, I will be shocked. But the Steelers should come out 35-32.
We're having another double-header Monday Night Football game. Is this the new norm now?
Early on in the season, it is. Just so, fans can garner interest in some kind of team.
Yeah. First Monday Night Football game is the Eagles at the Buccaneers.
Sneeze on the Buccaneers because they are at home, I think, in this game.
Yeah, they are.
Don't sneeze on the Buccaneers. The only difference between last year's Buccaneers and this year's Buccaneers is Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield. That's the only difference. Now, granted, that Rachaad White is really good for the Buccaneers. So, but at the same time, the Eagles who the Eagles are. So I'll probably say Eagles 24-21.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go the Eagles too. They're just a better team right now.
Yeah. And they are the kind of team defensively that can get Baker Mayfield to make a mistake.
Yeah. The more exciting game of the Monday night game slate, which is going to be playing like literally an hour after the start time of Eagles Buccaneers, is the Rams at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Not exciting for me, although I do really like the Rams. I think the Rams will win. I'm not really crazy about how Cincinnati is coming out for the season. I think Joe Burrow is still having physical issues, albeit with his calf or some other body part. But for me, the better game is going to be Tampa Bay, Philadelphia. But I think the Rams should pull this game out.
Yeah, I have to go Rams this game. The way the Bengals have played, they haven't given me any pause to say that they would win this game. But who knows? Maybe the Bengals could shock.
And they talked a lot of trash to start the season, too. Especially when it comes to Kansas City. So I'm just like, dude, shut your mouth, play football, and whatever happens is whatever happens.
Yeah. Well, that's basically it. We'll be back for week 3 recap and week 4 predictions next week, as well as tomorrow. We'll see if my Uncle Gerald will join me if he has nothing coming up.
I will try my very best to be awake. However, I will say this.
I don't blame you if you don't stay awake for this game, though.
No, I got to admit, but if the Bears come to play, my excitement will probably beat out my exhaustion, because, I mean, I got a full slate of food that I'm gonna cook for tomorrow in preparation for the Bears game against Kansas City. Watch the game against Kansas City. But if they throw up one of these crap games that they've thrown up in the past, then yeah, the only thing I'm gonna probably be interested in is getting some sleep so I can go to work.
News: Nick Chubb is believed to have suffered a torn MCL per sources.
Just the MCL?
Seems like it. That's what Adam Schefter.
Really? Man, that injury was so gruesome. I would have thought it would have been an ACL and an MCL.
So far, it's saying it's just an MCL.
Mm. Well, anyway, if that's the case, then believe it or not, I hate to say it like this, but that's a blessing, man. Because that injury was gruesome. I would have thought he would have broke the bone in addition to tearing some type of cartilage in his knee.
Basically.
So either way it go, he's out for the season.
Yeah. Yep. 6 to 8 months recovery time.
Correct.
So, anyways, that's basically it. Tomorrow, whether Michael Gerald joins me or I'm by myself again, I'll be doing my Bears recap about what I think is gonna be a bloodbath of a game against the Kansas City Chiefs when it comes to Bears.
I'll do my
Who
best.
knows? We'll probably have a follow-up video to see what the hell is going on in Hallis Hall, because I know there's gonna be some freaking, I don't know. Oh, is this coach gonna get fired? Is that coach gonna get fired?
Well, when the ATF comes to your front door, it's deep.
Yeah.
It's
It was
deep.
confirmed. It was confirmed. The whole thing about Soldier Field getting equipment stolen, that was actually false.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, the federal authorities came to visit Hallis Hall.
That wasn't proved to be true.
That was not proved to be true?
That wasn't proved to be true so far.
Wow.
Nobody knows.
He resigned for a specific reason. Whatever the reason is, I'm pretty sure we'll have that conversation. But it was reported from, at least, Bleacher Report. I think it was Chicago Tribune as well too, that federal authorities were at Hallis Hall a couple of days ago.
No, Ryan Poles had a press conference saying Hallis Hall did not get raided to the point they needed.
Well, I didn't say raided. They came to visit Hallis Hall.
True.
It's just his terminology. His terminology says raided, but they visited Hallis Hall. Now, whether that has anything to do with Alan Williams, I don't necessarily know. No one does until the official report comes out as far as why federal authorities went to Hallis Hall.
If
they went to Hallis Hall. Was it about Alan Williams? We don't know.
See, it would be so much better if the Bears just said, we're having an investigation going on right now, but it's okay. Their PR department is just as bad as the team.
Well, I mean, the whole organization is horrible all the way to, but then again, we knew that as long as you have the McCaskies at the top, then there's going to be something historically that's been wrong with the Bears for years. And the one constant has always been the McCaskies.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to get out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't want to depress you too much. So I'm going to just go ahead and wait for, Oregon to put this 50th spot on Colorado. And hopefully Nick Saban can come up with a strategy to beat Ole Miss.
Okay. Well, anyways, catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day, night, whichever this video. Enjoy college football today. Peace.